In the West, I think we managed to maintain the relationship between the secular and the religious.
Things about Islam, I would say, that frightens the West.
In the West, I think we managed to maintain the relationship between the secular and the religious by putting forth these axiomatic rights, which are in some sense religious in their derivation, and they slotted nicely into the religious understructure, but then simultaneously allowed for enough freedom so the political could do its own thing. And so that's partly why I'm so curious about your writings about Christ and about his place in Muslim thinking. Obviously in the West, whatever Christ was elevated to the highest place, right? Now, how do you understand? Now, I know Christ is a major figure in Islamic thinking, but there are differences.
Things about Islam, I would say, that frightens the West is that especially in the modern world, is that it appears that it's difficult for religions that aren't Islam in Islamic countries to manage to maintain themselves to any degree whatsoever. And now, look, I understand. I said that with a certain understanding also in mind. When I look at this from a psychological or an anthropological perspective, I also see that as human societies have come together and organized themselves in ever increasing sized groups, that the necessity for an emergent monotheism as a uniting factor might be crucial. And it's clearly the case that the emergence of Islam united diverse people. Yeah. And in that union, there is a kind of peace. That's the definition of union. And how much strife and force and conflict and catastrophe had to attend that unification is a matter of debate.
There's a couple of things that I can't wrap my head around easily in relationship to Islam. And so one is what I see as the failure to separate church from state. And that's a problem. Now, it may not be a problem as such, but it's certainly a problem in relationship to the relation between Islam and the West, because we separate church from state. Now, there's fundamentalists in the United States, Christian fundamentalists, who think that that separation is a mistake. So it's not only an idea that's rooted in Islam that those should be united. But it's definitely a problem with regards to our coexistence, because that's a fundamentally different presumption. Okay, so that's problem number one. Problem number two, for me, and again, this may be a consequence of my ignorance, which I'm trying to rectify, Muhammad was a warlord. And I don't know what to do about that fact. Like, one thing you can say about Christ, hypothetically, let's say, I'm not talking about a historical reality necessarily, although I'm not denying it either, is that of all the things he was, warlord was definitely not one of them. And I don't know what to do about that. And so I don't know how to reconcile that. And I don't know how to reconcile, like, not only was Muhammad a warlord, which I don't think is an unreasonable thing to proclaim, the expansion that he initiated was unbelievably successful. I mean, within 600 years, it was the biggest empire the world had ever seen. And it demolished Byzantine Christianity, which is something that Western people don't even know. You know, I've read thinkers who said that the West was so traumatized, culturally, let's say, by the demolition of Byzantine Christianity, that we can't even study it now. And so, I don't know if that's true, but I don't know that it's not true either. And the Buddhists were wiped out of Afghanistan, and we saw that echoed in the Taliban's destruction of those great Buddhist monuments. And so what I'm hoping is that there's a bridge. There better be a bridge. And that's why I want to have these discussions, because I'd like to understand if there's a bridge. And so lots of people have sent me people who I should talk to, who they think represent Islam far better than Ayaan Hirsi Ali. And perhaps they're correct, and hopefully I'll get an opportunity to talk to them. because I would like to know why. I would like to know if what I think is wrong. Because if it's wrong, it's important that I know it's wrong. But at the moment, I don't know it's wrong, and B, I'm not sure what it signifies. So, and I don't think anyone is sure, right? Because we have this entangling of the civilizations.